Premier League games of the midweek. That means we can win $50,000 in the midweek. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Jason Mattis with Winning Bets, of course. Thanks for checking out this episode. This is one of the free games that we play, and it's over on the NBC Sports Predictor app, where we can win $50,000 if we can correctly predict Matchweek number 17 midweek games going on here in the Premier League. If nobody can win that $50,000 grand prize, you can still compete for a guaranteed $1,000 prize if you can get the most points. 4 points right for the result, 10 points right for that correct score. I also give away $25 each and every single week to the winner of the Winning Bets League, whoever has the most points. All you got to do is join that league and compete against your fellow Winning Bet supporters. If you need that league information, go ahead and grab it from this video description. Let's see who won last week, $25. Looks like we had a two-way tie with 22 points. We got Daniels, Lisa, and Sabir 21 splitting that $25 prize, so each of them will take home $12.50. And I cracked the leaderboard. It's been a while since I've been on this screenshot. There I am right behind those two with a solid 20 points, a good performance. Hey, Daniels, Lisa, and Sabir 21, go ahead and hit me up on Twitter. Drop me your PayPal information, and I'll send each of you your winnings. Just to let you guys know how really tough this game is. We talk about how tough it is. I predicted last week's show, Crystal Palace beat Everton 2-1. The game finished 3-1, and Palace got a goal in the 93rd minute to get that third goal. I was so close to a correct score. That's just the margins of winning and losing are razor thin, and that's just one of the latest examples of just how tough this game is. So keep your head up high. Anybody can win this week, and anybody can win my $25 as well, as everybody starts with 0 points. Another thing that's making this contest really tough is COVID. You're seeing it in the Premier League. You saw it over this weekend with Tottenham's game up against Brighton. That was postponed due to COVID issues. And then Tuesday's game, Brentford versus Manchester United, that game's been postponed also due to COVID. I guess the only good thing is, and certainly not good for the people who are getting COVID, and I hate that people are obviously getting COVID, but we're getting enough COVID cases where games are being canceled. It's going to happen where you're going to get a couple COVID cases, and instead of games being canceled, maybe games will be missing key players, and that's just going to make it tough. So this game's tough, guys. You're making predictions without seeing lineups, so let's just keep on trucking along and see if we can win that $50,000. All right, so the first game does take us to Brighton versus Wolves. Look, Wolves, they're in a really rough patch. They haven't scored now in 4 straight games. One of those games was against Manchester City, and one of those games was against Liverpool. Another one was against Burnley, who a team that I talk about here on the show on a regular basis that I think they're really tough defensively. And one of them was against Norwich. So while they maybe haven't scored in 4 games, they have been playing some tough competition. Brighton, meanwhile, they come off the long delay. They obviously, their game, like I just said, was postponed this weekend up against Tottenham. So they should certainly have the fresh legs. They should be ready to go. They're at home. The Seagulls are. So they should be really to go and get after Wolves. Interesting note here about the last head-to-heads. 4 of the last 5 head-to-heads have all been in a draw, and 2 of those draws have been 0-0 draw. So it looks like these two clubs are pretty evenly matched there in terms of their competition and competitiveness. 4 of the last 5 games have been in draws. No one's able to get the upper hand in this fixture right here. If we look at the form of the last 5 games, if we go over to look at the table of the last 5 games, Brighton would be in 17th place and Wolves would be in 12th place. So maybe while Wolves haven't scored in their last 4 games, they're at least getting results. They're getting some draws because they're up in 12th place. You would expect if you haven't scored in 4 games, you would be down in 17th place where Brighton is. So give Wolves some credit. They're at least getting points. Brighton, meanwhile, like I said, they're in 17th place on that last 5 form. They've been getting some late dramatic winners. Got that one up against West Ham a couple weeks ago. There was one a couple weeks ago. I'm forgetting the opponent, but they had another late one there up against that opponent. So give Brighton, if this one, if don't turn the TV off, I guess is what I'm saying, because Brighton has the ability to get a late goal. But I'm going to go ahead and lean on the recent head-to-head here. I'm going to go ahead and say this one's going to be a draw. I think both teams will find the back of the net. Give me a 1-1 draw between Brighton and Wolves. All right, next one we got here is Arsenal versus West Ham. And what is going on in Arsenal? Have you guys heard the situation going on there with Aubameyang? He's no longer the captain of the club. He's not even going to play in this fixture due to some disciplinary actions. It's obviously not the first time he's gotten, in disciplinary actions there at the club. Aubameyang is kind of a hothead, to say the least, right there. So, but just a bad situation. You know, you don't want to have that happen to your captain, but give Arteta credit. You know, he draws a line in the sand and says that behavior is not going to be tolerated. I don't care if you're the captain. I don't care if you're the leader of the club. I think that's going to send a strong message through that dressing room and a good message through that dressing room, and really going to, you know, I think the other guys will kind of rally around that and say, okay, yeah, he's treating the captain like this. Okay, we gotta you know, button our tie up here a little bit and make sure we're following the rules and doing what we can to be a part of this club. As you know, Arsenal's obviously on their way up. They're sitting really good there on that table, so they're doing some right things. Won 3-0 last weekend up over Southampton. Southampton didn't do a whole hell of a lot to threaten Arsenal's goals, so good win there by Arsenal. Easy win up against Southampton right there. Meanwhile, for West Ham, they got a draw up against Burnley. Predicted that right here on this show last week. I predicted a 1-1 draw. It was 0-0, but yeah, Burnley's tough, and West Ham, I figured they were going to struggle up against Burnley, so got that one right. But West Ham's still the better team. I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot of separation here. Not a lot of separation. I mean, West Ham, sure, I do believe they're the better team, but Arsenal, at least with how they've been playing this season, obviously since that 5-0 beating against Manchester City, boy, they've really turned the page, and they're looking like a lot better club. And if we look at home and away form, there's not a lot of separation. Arsenal's home form this season, they're 6-1-1, and they'd be in second place in a table. Meanwhile, for West Ham, their away form, they'd be 4-2-2, and they'd be in fourth place on the table. So two really, really evenly matched clubs here. So evenly matched, I think this one's also going to be a draw. Go ahead and give me that 1-1 scoreline again. I think both teams will find the back of the net, but it'll finish in a draw, as it'll be 1-1. All right, next one we got here. This was a huge game. We got Burnley versus Watford, and I'm not kidding, folks. This is a monster game. You got 17th place going up against 18th place right here. Watford, they've been really good up at Claudio Ranieri. Yeah, they've lost 4 straight games, but if you've seen their performances, they don't deserve to get these losses. I mean, even that one up against Chelsea a couple weeks back, they deserved a point up against Chelsea. They deserved a point. They were the better side that day. Claudio Ranieri's got that team playing good. It's a little upsetting that they have gotten 4 straight losses, because I don't think they've deserved that whatsoever. They've been fun to watch. They were fun to watch up against Brentford on Friday night. They had moments where they were good. They even jumped out to a nice 1-0 lead there before they let Brentford come back in the last 10 minutes. You know, they let Brentford kind of get 2 late goals. Watch that game. Boy, the crowd was rocking. The supporters were really lifting Brentford, I thought, to that victory. But yeah, give Watford credit. They've looked pretty good up under Ranieri. Meanwhile, for Burnley, they've got draws in 4 of their last 5 games. You know, not scoring a lot, but also not conceding a lot. It's kind of what I talk about Burnley. You know, they're the under 2.5 cash cow in terms of from a betting perspective. So, you know, I think this is a spot, though, where if you kind of look at Sean Dice's, he kind of gets his guys ready for big games. And like I said, this is a big game. This is 17th versus 18th. The last head-to-heads, there's been 3 clean sheets. 2 of those clean sheets by Burnley. The other one was a 0-0 draw in that fixture. So I like Burnley, though, in this spot. I think at home, at Turf Moor, I think they'll cause Watford some troubles. They'll frustrate them. Sean Dice is just really, really compact. This is a big game. The supporters at Turf Moor will lift into victory. I've got Burnley winning this one by a margin. Go ahead and give me Burnley win, and I think the scoreline will be 3-1. 3-1 win there for Burnley. Next one we got here is Liverpool going up against Newcastle right here. The only thing that bait is Newcastle going to score. I mean, to me, that is the only thing we're talking about. We obviously know Liverpool and how damn good they are. We know Newcastle's really bad. So can Newcastle find the back of the net? And then what will you predict for Liverpool in terms of them getting a goal? Newcastle only scored 1 time last season against Liverpool. You remember all the injuries Liverpool had last season? I mean, you remember at the January transfer window, they were going down the championship to pluck guys out to be their new center backs. They had Fabinho as a center back for a while. They had Henderson as a center back for a while. And Newcastle got 1 goal in 2 fixtures. And now Liverpool's a healthy machine coming at them. At Anfield, Newcastle's in for a long one here. If you look at away form, which is obviously what Newcastle will be in this fixture, they would be in 20th place. They'd be 0-3-5 would be their record in 20th place. They've conceded 17 goals in 8 games. We know Liverpool's tough at Anfield. I'm predicting a clean sheet right here. I don't see Newcastle finding the back of the net. Go ahead and give me a Liverpool win, and I think they'll win the game by 3-0. 3-1 win, or 3-0. 3-0 win for Liverpool. All right, last game we got here is Chelsea going up against Everton. This one, I struggled. I struggled trying to predict, in large part because of Chelsea's midfield issues. They still, aren't going to have Conte. They still aren't going to have Kovacic. They're going to have Jorginho. He's obviously back, and they'll probably slot him in next to Saul or slot him next to Ruben Loftus-Cheek like they've been doing with these, recent fixtures with the injuries. But it's big not having Kovacic and not having Conte. Those are their guys. I mean, those are their midfielders. With Jorginho, obviously, those are the guys, and it just makes me nervous. I mean, look, Leeds put 2 past them. Chelsea had to have 2 penalty kicks go their way to beat them 3-2. It's not all that great right now. I mean, look, I told you how much they struggled up against Watford. They got the victory. That's the thing with this Chelsea team is, okay, you're able to score on Chelsea right now, but they still have enough offensive firepower, which is carrying them to victories. They didn't carry them up over West Ham, obviously 2 times out, but otherwise, it's generally been carrying them to victories. West Ham is a whole nother beast than Everton. I mean, West Ham, yeah, they're going to run through that Chelsea midfield. I don't think Everton's going to run through it, obviously, like a West Ham did. Meanwhile, for Everton, look, they beat Arsenal, and then they didn't really do much against Crystal Palace. They didn't do much. Yeah, they had 12 shots. I think half of them were on target, but it wasn't all that sexy. It wasn't all that good. You got to do better than that. It's Crystal Palace. You're coming off a good win against Arsenal, then to have that letdown against Palace, not good. Not good, Toffees. Not a good performance up against Palace. This game is going to be at Stamford Bridge. I think that'll obviously lift Chelsea. We look at Everton in their away fixtures, 8 games, they've only scored 7 goals. Chelsea in their home fixtures in 8 games, they've only conceded 6. So it comes down to me, will Chelsea have another clean sheet? That's what it comes down to. Everton's just been that poor. I'm wondering, can they find the back of that? This one feels like 2-0, 2-1. It'll either be 2-0, 2-1. I'm going to go with 2-0. Look, Chelsea's been too good at home. Everton's not scoring away from Goodison Park. Chelsea's going to get it done. They've been really, really tough at home. So I'm on that Chelsea 2-0 win. 2-0 win with the clean sheet. All right, guys, that's how I'm doing it this week for a chance to win $50,000. Games are going to come quick. We're going to do another video here in a couple days because we got more Premier League games this weekend. We look forward to seeing you then. Otherwise, good luck with your picks. That was a lot of fun. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and good luck with your picks. If interested in placing real sports bets, then check out my latest daily free sports betting video in the bottom right corner. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next contest.